We all knew this was coming as soon as they announced the multiverse, but it's already here. I don't even feel like we've gotten our feet wet in the multiverse. It's already been so bad that Kevin Feige is now confirming that Marvel timelines and universes, I think they're the same, who even knows? None of their rules make any sense, will, quote, crash or converge. Indeed. So, Marvel Studios President Kevin Feige recently confirmed that the numerous timelines and universes they created in the wake of Avengers Endgame and Loki Season 1 will, quote, crash or converge sometime in the future. In the foreword for the recently released book, Marvel Studios, The Marvel Cinematic Universe and Official Timeline, Kevin Feige first admits that their rules for new timelines and universes is indeed messy. This is what he says. As the team was pulling this book together, we went through multiple scenarios on how to present this timeline in the best possible way. We quickly realized that the real authority on these matters is the Time Variance Authority, or TVA, which we introduced in Loki. As the guardians of the sacred timeline, they would be the ones who would notice when things don't quite line up. And like the real universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe can also be a little messy in parts. Fortunately, we have missed minutes who will pop up throughout the book whenever we have one of those multiversal glitches and to provide more context. I looked through about like 40 pages of this book, I guess, is what's available through Google Books that you can get online for free, basically a preview. And I still don't think that they've explained how their multiverse really works. I haven't watched any of Loki season 2, so maybe they've clarified that a little bit better. But as far as Loki season 1 and Avengers Endgame, they clearly contradict each other, and I really have no idea how the multiverse works. Even in Loki season 1, at the end, you have them creating different time variance authorities, so that are supposedly outside of time and space, but you have multiple TVAs outside time and space now. So who really knows how any of this works? But clearly, it is an absolute disaster, and I think a lot of people just really have no idea what is going on, and it's just very perplexing because they seemingly don't have any rules, and if they do have rules, they break them. But uh, regardless of that, Feige admitted the timelines and universes will crash or converge in the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward. He said, on the multiverse note, we recognize that there are stories, movies, and series that are canonical to Marvel, but were created by different storytellers during different periods of Marvel's history. Obviously, I think he's referring to potentially the Netflix shows, Daredevil, Luke Cage, etc. We know that they're going to have Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio reprise their roles in the now scrapped Daredevil Born Again series that they're going to creatively basically reboot or retool, or sounds like they're just building a whole new show up from scratch, even though that they filmed like almost like half of the episodes. And then obviously you have the Fantastic Four movies, you've got the X-Men movies, you have all of those movies. So there's a lot of, like, you've got Blade back all the way back from the 90s and stuff. So there's lots of Marvel projects that were created outside of Marvel Studios. Obviously Spider-Man, et cetera, et cetera. They've already kind of jumped into the MCU with Spider-Man No Way Home. So that's kind of all what I feel like what he's talking about there. And then you also have what is it, the Agents of Shield, even though that was like kind of MCU adjacent, but when no one was really sure whether that was in the MCU or not. It seemed to follow what was going on in the MCU, and then it kind of like diverged. And obviously there was a battle of personalities there between Ike Perlmutter and Kevin Feige on what was and what wasn't the MCU in the MCU. But nevertheless, Feige goes on and says, the timeline presented in this book is specific to the MCU's sacred timeline through Phase 4, but as we move forward and dive deeper into the multiverse saga, you never know when timelines may just crash or converge. Hint, hint, spoiler alert. So he's basically confirming that indeed timelines and universes will indeed crash or converge. Now, that's not to, like, obviously, I think we can see that the Fox stuff is happening in Deadpool 3. We have the whole 20th Century logo, plenty of rumors that they're going to be bringing in the mutants that way. Who knows how they're going to introduce the Fantastic Four? One would assume that they're going to be completely different, but they could come in from a different timeline. And then obviously you have all of the different timelines and stuff that have been created after Endgame and Loki. And then all of those, they have that whole like animated series, like the What If series, which would be different diverging timelines and stuff. So you could see stuff like that coming in. We already saw some of that happening, I guess, in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness with like the different timelines, universes, etc. We've seen different universes merge in Avengers Endgame, where you had Gamora, like the Prime Gamora, get killed, and then you have this alternate universe timeline, whatever it is, Gamora come in and take her place. So we've already seen some of that. You got the like the other Thanos and all that stuff. So we have seen some of that already happen. But he's confirming that it will indeed be happening even more. And I think he's actually confirming here that this is going to be happening with like the Netflix stuff, with the Fox stuff, probably even more in depth with the Sony stuff, because I feel like we've already seen that in Sony as well too, with No Way Home. So probably more to have to do with the Fox stuff and the X-Men, and then potentially Blade if that ever gets off the ground. So if you want to read the full clip here, I got the screenshot from Google Books over here. None of this, again, should come as a surprise. Again, I feel like we've already seen some of this in the MCU already. Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man No Way Home, Loki, I guess, to an extent. So we already had seen some of that stuff where these other properties are kind of coming in. And then obviously it looked like that was the same thing was going to happen with like Daredevil Born Again with the Netflix stuff. But it happened in the comics too. If you go back to the Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars event comic book back in 2015, the comic took parts of the Prime Earth 616 universe as well as the Ultimate Earth 1610 universe, combined it with various other timelines and universes such as the Age of Apocalypse, the House of M, Marvel 2099, and more, and merged them into Battle World. Battle World is controlled by Victor Von Doom, who wields godlike powers and is even described as God Doom in the series. He's aided in his endeavor by Molecule Man, who's obtained the powers of the Beyonders and like granted it to Doctor Doom or God Doom. However, a number of heroes and villains survived the destruction of both Earth 616 and Earth 1610 through the creation of life rafts. I think Reed Richards created them. These heroes and villains challenge God Doom in his reign over Battleworld. After a one-on-one battle between God Doom and Reed Richards, Doom admits that Richards would have done a better job with the Beyonders' power. Thus, Molecule Man chooses Richards to wield the Beyonders' powers. With this choice, Battleworld is seemingly destroyed and Earth Prime is created in its wake. The series ends with Richards alongside his family and Molecule Man repopulating the entire multiverse. So you can see that there happening. Feige previously announced Marvel Studios would release Avengers Secret Wars on November 7, 2025 at San Diego Comic-Con in 2022. The film has since been pushed back to a May 7, 2027 release date. Numerous rumors claim the film will allow Feige and Marvel Studios to soft reboot the Marvel Cinematic Universe after a couple of years of poor-performing films and TV shows that have not only damaged the Marvel brand, but the superhero medium at large. One of those rumors comes from Scooper Sil Abdul, who claimed, but with Secret Wars, this is really Feige's chance to, again, wipe the slate clean of stuff you don't really want to do going forward. Then you bring in your mutants, you bring in Fantastic Four, you really do something special for the entire Marvel universe. This is basically a reset button for all of the disasters that they've rolled out in Phase 4 and Phase 5. Scooper, My Time to Shine Hello, also posited on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. If Endgame was the closure to the beginning of the MCU with Iron Man, then Secret Wars is the finale to the Marvel franchises that came before Iron Man and the MCU, obviously referring to the Fox stuff, Daredevil, Elektra, Blade, and the X-Men. Scooper, Can We Get Toast also posited that Secret Wars will be a send-off to the current iteration of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He wrote, yes, Hugh Jackman won't be recast until after Avengers Secret Wars. Feige is making Secret Wars a send-off to not only the current MCU, but all the Marvel movies that came before Iron Man. It's the ultimate soft reboot to make way for something all new and all different. So there you have, those are the latest rumors, but Feige is now confirming that indeed that these timelines and universes will be crashing and coming together. So I think he's really referring there to the stuff like Daredevil, Elektra, Blade, and the X-Men, and potentially the Fantastic Four. A lot of that Fox stuff, potentially maybe even Ghost Rider, things like that are going to be coming in to the MCU moving forward. Let me know what you think about this. I think this is a little bit too little, too late. You've already damaged your brand. I think you sat on your laurels with the X-Men too much. You had the chance to go with the X-Men, and you just haven't really done that yet. And so you haven't really put anything else out there that's been really good or intriguing. And the superhero brand in general has just been destroyed, and people en masse are just no longer tuning in to watch Marvel Studios productions or Marvel Cinematic, or go to the theaters and purchase tickets for Marvel Cinematic Universe films. In fact, they're losing money, like we saw with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and the Marvels. The next one is expected to have the worst opening weekend in Marvel Cinematic Universe franchise history, and potentially have the worst domestic box office total ever for a Marvel Cinematic Universe film. So things aren't looking good over there, and the brand has definitely been damaged with their insertion of all of the wokeism.
Subscribe for more.